Welcome back to the Yankee Chronicle. I'm your host, Abby Peel. A couple years ago, we were introduced to Lindsey Schust and her music. Not one to let her grass grow under her feet, she is on to her next project. Tell us more, Lindsey.
Well, I got interested in African music through my mom, Grace Schust, and she was an early adopter of like hand drumming in the 80s before it was sort of really well known. And, so she started to teach me drumming when I was like 7, and then she started to bring me to classes with these Caribbean drummers and West African drummers, and I kind of grew up with it. And also, my parents started a drum business when I was in high school, and they made this drum here and this drum here. Because my father's a woodworker and my mother's a drummer, and then they started to import drums from Mali, like this is a djembe, and this is a junjun or a dunun, and so it's just drums were everywhere. We growing up with drums, and then I have to also mention the person who really brought African drumming to America was Baba Olatunji and his Drums of Passion, and this was in the 50s, and he became my mom's #1 first African teacher, and then our family became like close friends. He was my godfather, so I spent a lot of time around Baba too, and he was a great singer and orator, and he would always make us sing. I was just sort of it was all in my life this whole time. And I'm still really close with a lot of, Baba passed away, but I'm really close with his lead drummer from Nigeria, Sikiru, who plays with Mickey Hart, and he was really close with his lead drummer from Nigeria, Sikiru, who plays with Mickey Hart, and he was in the Planet Drum project, and he's been my mentor about how to combine West African styles with modern music, with jazz and rock and blues. So this project came into being 2 years ago. I reconnected with a really close friend of mine who lived here in the late 90s, and we did a lot of drumming together. He's a master drummer, master guitarist, Papazani Jabate. Not only is he a good friend, but he's from a legendary family. His father had a big band, the Super Jata band, and he was kind of like Jimi Hendrix in Mali. He's also from a musical lineage in Mali. They have a lineage that goes back to the 13th century of people who are born to be musicians, originally for the king, and they call them griots. And he's from one of those families, so their job is to keep the traditions going. And we've been friends since we were 19. He had to go back to Mali, and we stayed in touch. We did a project together in 2002 where we put out an album, and one of those songs became a hit on the radio in Mali. And it was a collaboration, a combination of West African and jazzy arrangement that I did. 2 years ago, we decided let's do an album. Why not? I'll record here and send my tracks to Mali, and he'll record in Mali and get some of the traditional musicians there to play with him, and professionals, and do an album. So they're mixing it and producing it there. So it's got a little bit of American influence, some salsa, reggae, blues, rock, country kind of feel mixed into it. It's a marriage of cultures. It's African and Malian different cultures. They have lots of different musical styles and ethnic groups. So the music video that we put out is it's called Muso Women. Muso means women in their language. I filmed my students, and my mom filmed me dancing in the snow because it was March. Put on these beautiful African dresses that they made me. This is made of thin cotton. It's it's a fabric designed after this traditional fabric, which is actually woven heavy cotton. And the footage came out really well. Like, it's really an interesting combination of like almost otherworldly. The snow's swirling around. There's this exotic, like, patterned dress, and in the Mali portion of it, he got members of some of the best dancers in Mali from the National Ballet. He also filmed in this village, and you know, when you start a project, you think it's just about this, and then all of a sudden it has a life of its own. So this song inspired us to help a village, a small village of about 200 people in the area called Wankaro, and these women in the village are in our video. The video is about women's empowerment, and the song is called Muso, and it's saying women can do everything in the world. Besides just doing a video and a song, we wanted to actually do something for the women in Mali. So he was visiting a friend in this village, and with the camera he showed me the women carrying water. He showed me this while he was there, and I said, this has to be in the video because we're doing a video about women, and these women are amazing. They got dressed up in their like wedding gowns, and they all came out and demonstrated the physical labor that they have to do every day, which is getting water out of a well with a little plastic bag, and then pounding cassava root by hand. And so they said, these women were talking to him and hearing about his project, and they asked him to please see if there's anything that the Americans could do to help. And I said, you know what, we're doing a GoFundMe for our album. Why don't we see if we get enough money? We'll give some to this village and help them, you know, get another well or do something. And so he talked to them. He said, what would you like if we could raise some money, small amount? What do you guys need? And they said, we need a garden because we have no way to make money. And if we had a garden, we could sell vegetables at the market. And so he let me know this. We raised the money, and he went right over to this village, and the women were like in tears and laughing and so happy. And they used this money to buy a little plot, and they put in a garden. And they sent a few videos while they're, you know, planting, and then they sent one when they're harvesting, and they were like dancing and using sticks and thrashing the wheat the way they would a long time ago here, with music and drums. And you know what happened is we did this project. We got inspired to actually give something back to the women in Africa. We helped this particular village, and it's made a difference for this small group of people.
Musoluni la do
you've just seen a Musso video, and we're hoping to do another video for at least one more from one of the songs on the album. At this point, we have 7 songs on the album. We're hoping to have maybe 8 or more if we can stretch it out a bit. You know, I think it will probably be another year or so of working on this to really finish up the creative work, to do the recording, and then you have to kind of plan out how you release your music to the public and do it maybe song by song. And the other part of it is I really hope to, although we've been doing it remotely, I'm working on a plan to try to meet in the middle, or have him come here, or I go to Mali, or meet in the middle in Europe or something, and do a live presentation and do premiere this stuff. And that would be my ultimate goal, is to actually do a live show. So on YouTube, we posted the video, and we added some English subtitles so you can hear what the words are saying. And the song is essentially about women's empowerment, and that women can do anything, and that people should respect women. One of the things that's been really humbling for this project is we have done a GoFundMe, and a lot of people have really supported this work and helped us, and we really want to thank all the people who've been supporting us to make it possible to do these recordings and the video. By the way, we do still need a little help, and so I'd love it if you look at our video and you like it, if you could share the GoFundMe link. That would be great, because we still need a little bit more just to finish up.
Thank you for this international effort to expose us to new music from everywhere. Next week, we'll be right back here at Main Street Bookends here in Warner, when we hear about Warner's 250th anniversary celebration that has already begun. We'll close with a visit to the Sweet Beet Market in Bradford for an update on their offerings. Join us again next week here at the same time for another round of your Who, What, Where, and When show of the Lake Sunapee region. I'm Abby Peel. See you next week.
This program is supported by H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating. Their full-service model offers oil delivery, propane, motor fuels with design, installation, service, and maintenance of all types of oil, gas, and alternative energy systems, as well as air conditioning, water conditioning systems, and their highly trained and friendly staff will assist you throughout the process of buying, installing, and servicing a full line of energy products. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating.